Time is the one resource that separates the successful from the unsuccessful, because this is the only thing you can never get back. Money, you can lose it and earn it again. Opportunities, you can miss them and new ones will appear. But time, once it's gone, forever. That is why the cost of success always begins with how you use your time. Every champion you admire, every entrepreneur, every athlete, every leader who made it to the top, they all understood this truth. The way you spend your hours determines the results you will have in your life. You say you want to succeed, but let me ask you, how are you spending your morning? How are you spending your nights? How much of your day is invested in your dream versus wasted on distraction? Because the cost of success is not paid in words, it is paid in hours. When others are sleeping, you have to be working. When others are watching television, scrolling their phones, or wasting their evening, you have to be putting in the time. There's no shortcut. You can't microwave greatness. You can't wish your way into success. It is built brick by brick, moment by moment, through the way you choose to use your 24 hours. You only get the same 24 as everyone else, but the difference is how you use them. Some people waste their day waiting for the perfect opportunity, waiting for someone to hand them something, waiting for things to get easier. But those who succeed are the ones who treat every second as an investment into their future. They don't wait for time, they make time. They don't hope for free space on the calendar, they carve it out. They make sacrifices with their hours, because they understand that discipline with time is the first down payment on success. Think about the athletes who rise before the sun to train, the student who studies late into the night while others are at parties, the entrepreneur who works on their vision after their 9-to-5 job is over. These people are not lucky, they are intentional. They decided that their time was too precious to waste, that their dream was worth the cost of missed sleep, missed entertainment, missed temporary pleasures. Every extra hour invested in their craft puts them one step closer to mastery, one step closer to greatness. Time is the silent proof of commitment. You cannot say you want success and then spend your hours living like you don't. Your calendar tells the truth about your priorities. If your dream matters, your time will show it. The cost of success demands that you learn to guard your time. Not everyone deserves access to your hours. Not every event, every invite, every distraction deserves your presence. Some people will not understand why you can't hang out. Why? You can't waste weekends? Why you don't pick up every call? That is okay. They don't have to understand your grinds. Because time spent chasing your purpose is more valuable than time spent pleasing people who won't be there when you need them. If you are serious about success, you must protect your schedule with the same passion you protect your dream. You must learn to say no, not because you don't care about others, but because you care too much about where you are going. And here's the truth most people ignore. Time is not neutral. It either works for you or against you. If you waste it, it piles up in regret. If you invest it, it multiplies into results. A few minutes of laziness each day seems harmless, but over years it turns into hours, days, even months of lost progress. On the other hand, a few minutes of focus each day compounds into skills, knowledge, and breakthroughs that others will call luck. But you will know was the cost you paid in time. Every second counts. Every hour is a seed. What you plant with your time today is what you will harvest tomorrow. Success requires urgency. You cannot treat time casually and expect extraordinary results. Too many people live like they will have forever, as if there's no limit, as if tomorrow is guaranteed. But champions understand that every day is borrowed. Every sunrise is a gift, and they act like it. They wake up with purpose. They structure their hours. They refuse to procrastinate because they know the clock is ticking. The difference between the person who wins and the person who wins and the person who almost wins is not talent. It is how they spent their time. So when you think about the cost of success, the first and greatest question you must ask yourself is, how badly do you want it? And are you willing to pay for it with your time? Because success demands hours of practice, hours of planning, hours of building. It demands the early mornings where you rise before the world, and the late nights where you stay locked in while others quit. It demands the consistency of showing up day after day, even when you are tired, even when you don't feel like it, even when no one is cheering you on. That's the real price of success, your time. Discipline is the invisible force that separates dreamers from doers, talkers from achievers, the ones who almost made it from the ones who actually did. Discipline is not about talent. Talent without control eventually fades. Discipline is not about motivation, because motivation comes and goes. Discipline is about deciding who you want to be and sticking to that decision, no matter how you feel in the moment. It is the ability to push yourself to do what needs to be done, even when every part of you wants to quit, even when the circumstances aren't perfect, even when no one else is watching. Discipline is the backbone of success, the daily cost you pay to keep moving forward. You can have the biggest dream, the most detailed vision board, the strongest desire in your heart, but without discipline, it will remain a fantasy. Discipline turns intention into action and action into results. It means you stop living by emotions and start living by commitments. Most people live on a roller coaster of feelings. If they feel inspired, they work. If they feel tired, they rest. If they feel excited, they give their all. If they feel discouraged, they stop. But the people who rise to the top refuse to be prisoners of their feelings. They choose to be governed by discipline. They wake up on days when it would be easier to stay in bed. They study when it would be more fun to watch a movie. They train when their bodies ache. They create when their minds feel empty. Discipline doesn't care about mood, it cares about consistency. Think about the athlete who spends years practicing the same move, the same drill, the same routine over and over again until it becomes second nature. That is discipline. Think about the writer who sits down every single morning to write, even when the words don't come easily. That is discipline. Think about the entrepreneur who makes calls, sends emails, builds systems, and stays locked in on the vision long after the excitement has worn off. That is discipline. Success doesn't happen in the highlight moments that people see. It happens in the hidden hours of repetitive, disciplined effort that nobody applauds. Discipline is also about saying no to distractions, no to shortcuts, no to excuses. It is easy to do what feels good in the moment. It is easy to give yourself permission to slack off just this one. But success is not built on what is easy. It is built on what is necessary. Every time you choose discipline, you are making a deposit in the bank of success. Every skipped distraction, every completed task, every sacrifice of comfort is an investment that will pay you back later with results. Without discipline, you go broke in life. Not financially, but in dreams, because you spend your potential on things that don't matter. Discipline also requires trust in the process. You won't see results overnight. You won't get instant rewards. Discipline teaches you to delay gratification, to endure the grind without immediate proof. That's why most people quit. They think the effort is wasted because the results aren't instant. But discipline is about faith, about believing that if you keep showing up, keep doing the work, keep repeating the process, eventually the breakthrough will come. Discipline whispers to you in the silence. Stay the course. The results will show if you don't stop. And discipline is not just about big, dramatic acts of sacrifice. It is built in the small choices you make daily. Choosing to read for an hour instead of scrolling. Choosing to exercise instead of sleeping in. Choosing to prepare your work the night before instead of rushing in the morning. These choices might look small, but stacked together day after day, they build a life of excellence. People often underestimate how powerful small, disciplined actions can be. They think success comes from one giant leap, but in reality, it comes from thousands of tiny steps taken consistently. Discipline is painful at first. It feels like a burden, like you are carrying a heavy weight. But over time, that weight becomes your strength. The very habits you once had to force yourself to do become automatic. The routine that once felt restricted becomes liberating. Discipline transforms from something you dread into something that defines you. When you reach that level, discipline becomes freedom. Because now you no longer waste time fighting with yourself. No longer wrestle with indecision, no longer lose battles to laziness. You simply live by the code you built. Most people will never know what they could have achieved, not because they lack potential, but because they lack discipline. They gave up too soon. They let distractions pull them away. They allow comfort to rob them of greatness. Sacrifice is the price tag attached to every dream, and until you are willing to pay it, success will remain out of reach. People love the idea of success, the applause, the recognition, the rewards, but very few are willing to embrace what it truly costs. Success demands that you let go of something in order to gain something greater. It is not about what you want. It is about what you are willing to give up. That is the uncomfortable truth most people run from, but champions run toward. They understand that every yes to success requires a no to something else. You cannot hold on to everything and expect to rise to the top, because the journey to greatness requires space, energy, and focus that can only be freed up through sacrifice. Sacrifice means saying goodbye to comfort. You cannot stay comfortable and expect to grow. Growth requires stretching, and stretching hurts. It means leaving behind the safety of what you know, the ease of routine, the temptation of pleasure, and choosing instead the hard, uncomfortable path that leads to progress. Comfort is cheap, but success is expensive. Comfort will give you temporary satisfaction, but sacrifice gives you long-term transformation. The people who choose comfort over sacrifice stay in the same place year after year, wondering why nothing changes. But those who embrace sacrifice pay the price now so they can enjoy the rewards later. Sacrifice also means letting go of distraction. Every hour spent on meaningless activities is an hour stolen from your destiny. Success doesn't just require time, it requires focused time. That means cutting out the noise, endless scrolling, binge watching, unnecessary drama, shallow entertainment, and redirecting that energy toward building your dream. It feels like a loss in the moment because you are giving up things that bring temporary pleasure. But the truth is you are gaining discipline, clarity, and results that last. Champions understand that discipline today creates freedom tomorrow. They sacrifice what is fun now for what is fulfilling later. Sometimes sacrifice means walking away from people who don't align with your vision. Not everyone can go where you are going. Some friends will hold you back. Some relationships will drain you. Some environments will stunt your growth. It doesn't mean you don't love them. It means you love your purpose too much to let it die. The cost of success is sometimes loneliness, but it is better to walk alone in the right direction than to walk with a crowd that leads you nowhere. True sacrifice means choosing your future over fitting in. It means surrounding yourself with people who push you higher, even if it means losing those who keep you low. Sacrifice is also financial. You may have to invest money you would rather spend on comfort into tools, education, training, or opportunities that will advance your dream. You may have to live below your means, cut back on luxuries, and resist the temptation of instant gratification so you can build something bigger. People who want success but aren't willing to sacrifice financially often remain stuck because they refuse to plant the seeds that could produce the harvest later. Sacrifice in this area requires faith. It means believing that what you give up now will return multiplied in the future. There's also the sacrifice of energy. Success demands your full effort. It means working when you're tired, pushing when your body aches, staying sharp when your mind wants to wander. You cannot half commit and expect full results. Sacrifice means giving your best even when you don't feel like it, because you understand that the energy you put in today will shape the results you see tomorrow. Every ounce of energy you sacrifice today is an investment in the life you want to build. Another part of sacrifice is giving up the need for instant results. We live in a world that worships speed, where people want success overnight. But true greatness is built slowly, brick by brick, through years of sacrifice. You will have to sacrifice the illusion of quick wins and embrace the process. You will have to trust that the small, invisible sacrifices you make daily, studying, practicing, building, refining, are not wasted, even if no one claps for you. Patience is one of the hardest sacrifices because it means resisting the urge to quit when progress feels invisible. But if you keep sacrificing comfort, distractions, and excuses, the results will eventually appear. Sacrifice will hurt. It will feel unfair at times. You will see others enjoying pleasures you gave up. You will wonder if the price is too high. You will question whether it's worth it. But remember this, the pain of sacrifice is temporary. The pain of regret is permanent. You can either sacrifice now and live with results later, or refuse to sacrifice and live with excuses forever. Those are the only two options. Consistency is the bridge between goals and achievement, the daily grind that transforms small actions into massive results. It is not glamorous, it is not exciting, and most of the time it feels boring, but it is the secret ingredient that makes everything work. Anybody can show up once. Anybody can give effort when they feel inspired. But success doesn't come from what you do once in a while. It comes from what you do repeatedly, day after day, even when the excitement has worn off, even when the results aren't showing yet, even when no one is clapping for you. Consistency is the proof that you are serious about your dream. The problem is most people quit too soon. They want instant results. They want success to show up on their timeline. They start with passion. They give everything for a week, maybe a month, but when the results don't come quickly, they stop. What they fail to understand is that success is a delayed harvest. The seeds you plant today don't sprout tomorrow. They take time, and the only way to see them grow is to keep watering them, keep nurturing them, keep showing up with consistency. Every day you stay consistent, you are adding pressure to the dream, and eventually that pressure creates breakthrough. Consistency builds trust with yourself. Every time you show up when you said you would, you prove to yourself that you are reliable. That trust is powerful because it builds confidence. You stop doubting whether you can succeed because your daily actions prove that you are capable of sticking to the plan. On the other hand, every time you break your word to yourself, every time you skip the work you promised you do, you weaken that trust. Consistency is not just about results. It is about identity. It shapes who you are becoming. Either you are becoming someone who can be counted on or someone who can't even count on themselves. Think about how muscles are built. You don't go to the gym once and expect to be strong. You don't lift weights for a week and expect transformation. Strength is built through consistent effort, small increments repeated over time. The same is true for your mind, your skills, your craft, your business. You can't cram consistency. You can't binge practice and expect mastery. It is the slow, steady accumulation of effort that makes the difference. The world celebrates highlights, but highlights are only possible because of the countless hidden hours of consistent practice that nobody sees. Consistency is often quiet. It doesn't give you the thrill of a dramatic leap forward. It doesn't always feel like progress. Sometimes you will wonder if your effort even matters because the results are not visible. But consistency is like laying bricks. Each brick on its own seems small, but when placed day after day, eventually you build a wall, then a building, then a fortress. That is the power of consistency. It compounds. What starts small becomes unstoppable if you refuse to quit. The biggest enemy of consistency is emotion. There will be days when you don't feel like working, days when motivation is gone, days when excuses seem louder than your goals. But consistency requires that you stop being driven by emotion and start being driven by discipline. You don't have to feel like it to do it. You don't have to be inspired to take action. Champions understand that consistency is a choice, not a feeling. They lock in their routines, they commit to their schedules, and they follow through regardless of mood. That is why they win. Consistency is also about focus. You can't keep switching paths, chasing every new idea, starting and stopping every time something feels difficult. You have to commit long enough to see results. Too many people destroy their progress by quitting too soon or by jumping from one thing to another without staying long enough to grow roots. Success requires that you plant yourself and water that seed daily until it flourishes. It may take months, it may take years, but consistency will always bring a return if you stay the course. One of the most powerful things about consistency is that it builds momentum. At first, it feels hard. Every action feels heavy, every step feels forward. But the more consistent you become, the easier it gets. Habits form, routines set in, and what once felt impossible becomes second nature. Consistency creates rhythm, and rhythm creates flow. Before long, the very things you once had to push yourself to do become automatic. That is when you know you've crossed into a new level of commitment. The truth is, talent can get you noticed, but only consistency will keep you there. Many people start strong, but very few finish. The world is full of talented people who never reach their potential because they lack consistency. On the other hand, countless people with less talent have achieved greatness simply because they refuse to stop showing up. Consistency beats talent when talent refuses to stay consistent. Patience is one of the hardest costs of success because it demands that you trust the process even when you can't yet see the results. In a world that craves speed, where people want instant gratification and immediate rewards, patience feels like weakness. But the truth is, patience is strength. It is the quiet endurance that keeps you moving forward when others quit. It is the calm in the storm of delay, the ability to hold on to your vision without giving up when the results take longer than you expected. Success never happens overnight, no matter how much people want to believe in quick wins. It is the product of years of persistence, and patience is what carries you through those years. Most people fail not because they lack talent or opportunity, but because they lack patience. They plant seeds and then dig them up when they don't sprout fast enough. They give up just before the breakthrough. They start something, work hard for a short time, and when results don't show, they abandon it for something else. The truth is, greatness is not built on speed. It is built on endurance. You have to be willing to wait, to keep showing up, to keep putting in the effort, to keep watering the seed even when the soil looks empty. Patience means you trust that growth is happening beneath the surface, even when you can't see it yet. Patience is not about sitting still and doing nothing. It is about active persistence. It means working diligently every day, knowing that results may not show right away. It means understanding that success is a delayed harvest, that the effort you put in today will not reward you tomorrow, but will compound over time. Just like a tree takes years to grow strong roots before it ever produces fruit, success requires seasons of preparation that may not look glamorous from the outside. But those seasons are essential because they give you the foundation to handle the success when it comes. Patience also builds character. When you wait and continue to grind despite the lack of immediate results, you develop resilience. You learn to trust yourself. You learn to endure struggle. You learn to value the process more than the prize. Success without patience makes you fragile. If things come too easily, you won't have the strength to maintain them. But when you've waited, struggled, and endured, the reward means more, and you are ready to carry the weight of it. Patience is the training ground for greatness. It sharpens your discipline, toughens your spirit, and deepens your gratitude. The world often glorifies speed. People want to go viral overnight, get rich quick, or rise to the top without the grind. But what comes fast often goes fast. Quick success without patience usually fades because the foundation was too weak. It is patience that allows you to build slowly, to grow steadily, and to create something that lasts. True success is not about how quickly you get there. It is about how well you can sustain it once you arrive. And only patience can give you that sustainability. Patience also protects you from making reckless decisions. When you are impatient, you rush into opportunities that aren't right for you. You try to skip steps, take shortcuts, or force things that aren't ready. Impatience costs you more in the long run because it leads to mistakes and regret. Patience allows you to wait for the right moment, the right opportunity, the right door to open. It gives you clarity because you are not desperate. You are confident in the process, knowing that what is meant for you will come at the right time, as long as you keep doing the work. There will be times when patience feels unbearable. You will see others advancing faster than you, achieving results you've been working years for, and you'll be tempted to question yourself. But remember, comparison kills patience. Everyone's journey is different, and just because someone else is moving quickly doesn't mean their success will last. Stay focused on your lane, keep your eyes on your vision, and trust your timing. The road to greatness is not a sprint, it is a marathon. You cannot rush the process without ruining the outcome. Patience also teaches you gratitude. When you finally reach your goal after years of struggle, you appreciate it more deeply than if it had come easily. Every late night, every sacrifice, every moment of doubt makes the victory sweeter. Patience transforms success from something you take for granted into something you cherish. It reminds you that the journey itself was part of the reward, that the waiting shaped you just as much as the winning. Think of the farmer who sows his feed. He doesn't expect a harvest the next day. He knows there is a season of waiting, of tending, of nurturing before the crops come. He cannot rush the sun or force the rain. All he can do is stay consistent, stay patient, and trust nature's timing. Success works the same way. Resilience is the heartbeat of success, the inner strength that allows you to keep moving forward no matter how many times life knocks you down. Success is not a straight line. It is filled with setbacks, failures, rejections, and disappointments. Everyone who has ever achieved anything great has faced obstacles that could have ended their journey. But what set them apart was resilience, the refusal to quit, the decision to rise every time they fail. Resilience is not about avoiding pain or hardship. It is about enduring it and using it as fuel to push forward. When you set out to achieve something big, life will test you, circumstances will challenge you, people will doubt you, plans will fail, dreams will seem distant. In those moments, resilience is the cost you must pay. It is what keeps you from surrendering when the road gets hard. Without resilience, the first setback will break you, the first rejection will discourage you, and the first failure will convince you to quit. But with resilience, those same setbacks become lessons, those rejections become redirection, and those failures become stepping stones toward your breakthrough. Resilience is built through struggle. You cannot develop it in comfort. Just like muscles are strengthened by resistance, resilience is strengthened by adversity. Every time you face a challenge and push through it, you grow tougher. Every time you fall and rise again, your spirit becomes stronger. People who avoid hardship never develop resilience, and that is why they crumble under pressure. But those who embrace the struggle, who choose to keep fighting no matter how difficult it gets, become unshakable. Resilience is earned through pain, but it is pain that prepares you for greatness. Resilience also requires perspective. When something goes wrong, you can either see it as the end of the road or as part of the journey. Resilience choose the second view. They understand that failure is not final unless you quit. They don't see setbacks as proof that they can't succeed. They see them as evidence that success takes persistence. Every great achievement in history is the story of resilience. People who were told no again and again, but who kept showing up until the world had no choice but to say yes. One of the most powerful aspects of resilience is the ability to adapt. Life will not always go according to plan. Doors will close, opportunities will vanish, strategies will fail. Resilience allows you to adjust without giving up. It teaches you to bend without breaking, to change your approach without abandoning your dream. The path to success is rarely the one you expected, but resilience keeps you moving forward even when the map changes. Flexibility combined with persistence is the true formula for resilience. Resilience also means controlling your inner dialogue. When challenges hit, your mind will try to convince you to quit. Doubt will whisper that you are not good enough. Fear will shout that you will never make it, and excuses will offer you the easy way out. The resilient silence those voices by choosing to believe in themselves and their purpose. They remind themselves of why they started, of how far they have come, and of what is at stake if they give up. They feed their faith more than their fear. And that mental strength is what carries them through the darkest moments. There is no resilience without scars. If you want to succeed, you will be bruised. You will be criticized. You will be underestimated. You will be betrayed. But resilience transforms those wounds into wisdom. It allows you to use the pain as a teacher rather than a prison. Every scar becomes proof that you survived, that you kept going when others would have quit. Resilience does not protect you from suffering. It empowers you to rise stronger because of it. Resilience also inspires others. When people see you endure hardship without breaking, when they watch you rise from defeat and keep going, it gives them hope that they can do the same. Your resilience becomes a light for others, a testimony that success is possible, even when life is tough. The greatest leaders and achievers are not admired because they never faced obstacles, but because they refuse to let those obstacles stop them. Resilience is contagious, and by living it out, you give permission for others to keep fighting too. At times, resilience will feel exhausting. You will wonder if it's worth it, if you should keep pushing, if maybe quitting would be easier. But resilience whispers to you that greatness is never easy, that every sacrifice, every setback, and every struggle is part of the price you must pay. It reminds you that the pain of quitting will always be greater than the pain of pushing forward. The road is hard, but the destination is worth it. Success without resilience does not last. Focus is the sharp edge that cuts through distractions and directs all your energy towards your goals. Without focus, even the most talented person will scatter their potential in 100 directions and never achieve anything significant. Success requires more than just effort. It requires concentrated effort. It is not enough to work hard. You must work hard on the right things. Focus is what ensures that your time, your energy, and your actions are aligned with your vision instead of wasting on things that don't move you forward. The world is full of distraction. Every day you are bombarded with notifications, entertainment, opportunities, and noise competing for your attention. If you are not careful, you can spend hours, even years, chasing things that look good but don't serve your purpose. Focus is the discipline of saying no to what doesn't matter so you can say yes to what does. It is about ignoring the endless voices pulling you in different directions and keeping your eyes fixed on the destination you've chosen. Without focus, you will live busy but never effective. You will be moving but not progressing. Focus means clarity. You cannot focus on what you have not defined. Too many people say they want success, but they have no clear picture of what that success looks like. They want everything, so they chase everything and end up with nothing. But when you are clear about your goal, when you know exactly what you are working toward, focus becomes easier. Every decision becomes a question. Does this move me closer to my vision or pull me further away? Focus simplifies life because it cuts out the unnecessary and keeps you aligned with your mission. Think about how a magnifying glass works. The sun's rays are powerful, but when spread across a wide area, they only provide warmth. But when those rays are focused through a glass, they become strong enough to burn through paper. That is the power of focus, your energy, your talent, your time. They are powerful, but when scattered, when concentrated, they become unstoppable. The difference between ordinary and extraordinary is not always talent, but focus. Focus also requires discipline with your time. You cannot afford to give hours to things that don't add value to your future. Social media, gossip, endless entertainment, these are traps designed to steal your focus. Every minute spent on distractions, a minute stolen from your destiny. Champions guard their focus like treasure. They structure their days around their goals. They protect their time from interruptions, and they prioritize progress over pleasure. Focus is not about being busy. It's about being productive in the areas that matter most. One of the greatest enemies of focus is comparison. When you spend your energy watching what others are doing, you lose sight of your own path. Focus requires that you stop measuring your progress against someone else's timeline and instead concentrate on your own road. It is easy to get discouraged when you see others moving faster, but their race is not your race. Focus means keeping your eyes on your lane, your pace, your purpose. The moment you look sideways, you slow down. The moment you look backward, you stumble. But when you look forward with focus, you move with clarity and confidence. Focus also demands persistence. There will be days when distractions feel stronger than your discipline, when you are tempted to chase shortcuts or give in to instant gratification. But focus means holding steady, refusing to be swayed, staying locked in on your mission no matter what. The people who achieve greatness are not always the most gifted, but they are the ones who stay focused long enough for results to come. They didn't let temporary obstacles or shiny distractions pull them away from their purpose. Focus is not just about what you give attention to. It is also about what you ignore. You cannot focus on everything, and if you try, you will dilute your power. Focus requires sacrifice. It means missing out on some opportunity so you can maximize the right ones. It means turning down good things in order to pursue the best things. That sacrifice may feel painful in the moment, but it ensures that your energy is never wasted on the wrong battles. Focused people understand that success is not about doing more. It is about doing what matters most. Focus also sharpens your resilience. When your eyes are fixed on your goal, setbacks don't distract you. When people doubt you, criticize you, or try to pull you off course, your focus keeps you steady. You don't waste energy proving yourself to others because you are too busy pursuing your vision. Focus creates tunnel vision, where all the noise fades into the background and only your purpose remains in view. That kind of clarity is unstoppable because it makes you immune to distractions and grounded in your mission. The truth is, lack of focus is expensive. Pain is the price that nobody wants to pay, yet it is the very currency of success. There is no breakthrough without sacrifice, no elevation without struggle, and no transformation without pain. Pain is not your enemy. It is your greatest teacher, the fire that shapes your character, test that proves your commitment to the vision you say you want. Everyone dreams of success, but not everyone is willing to endure the pain that comes with it. Success demands pain, whether it is the pain of discipline, the pain of sacrifice, or the pain of perseverance. The question is never whether you will face pain on your journey, but whether you will let that pain stop you or shape you. The truth is, pain is unavoidable in life. You cannot escape it. You will either experience the pain of hard work or the pain of regret. You will either feel the pain of sacrifice now or the pain of failure later. The difference between those who succeed and those who quit is that the successful choose the pain that leads to growth, while the unsuccessful try to avoid pain altogether and end up living with the pain of mediocrity. If you want to achieve greatness, you must embrace pain as part of the process, not as a punishment, but as preparation. Pain builds strength in the same way that lifting heavy weights builds muscle. When you put yourself under pressure, when you endure stress, when you push past your comfort zone, you grow stronger. The pain of waking up early, the pain of staying disciplined, the pain of working while others are relaxing, it feels uncomfortable in the moment, but it creates resilience, grit, and toughness that comfort never could. Pain is the grind that shapes your character so that when the rewards come, you are strong enough to handle them. Without pain, success would destroy you because you wouldn't have the strength to carry it. Pain is also the filter that separates the committed from the curious. Everybody wants success until they realize how much it will cost them. Pain exposes the pretenders. When the struggle becomes real, when sacrifices have to be made, when it hurts too much to continue, only those who are truly hungry will keep going. Pain is the test that asks, how badly do you want it? If you give up at the first sign of discomfort, you are never serious. But if you keep going when it hurts, when you're tired, when you're doubted, when nobody believes in you, that's when you prove you are worthy of success. Every painful moment you endure is an investment. It may not feel like it in a moment, but every sleepless night, every rejection, every setback is depositing strength into your future. Pain teaches lessons that comfort never could. It shows you who you really are, how much fight you have in you, how much discipline you can sustain. It forces you to dig deeper, to discover parts of yourself you never knew existed. Pain sharpens your vision. It clarifies your priorities. It strips away everything that doesn't matter so that only your purpose remains. The world is full of people who quit because the pain was too much. They had talent, they had potential, they had opportunities, but they walked away when it got uncomfortable. What they didn't realize is that pain is temporary, but quitting is permanent. Pain eventually passes. Muscles heal, wounds close, emotions settle, but regret lasts a lifetime. The pain of discipline weighs ounces, but the pain of regret weighs tons. That's why successful people are willing to endure short-term pain for long-term gain. They understand that pain is not the end, it is the pathway. Pain also creates gratitude. When you finally reach success after years of hardship, the struggle makes the victory sweeter. If everything came easy, you would take it for granted. But when you've cried, when you bled, when you've sacrificed, when you've endured pain to get there, you value the achievement in a way that comfort could never provide. Pain makes you humble. It keeps you grounded. It reminds you of what it costs. It reminds you of what it costs and why you can't afford to waste it. Pain teaches endurance. When things don't go your way, when setbacks keep piling up, when it feels like the weight is too heavy, pain trains you to endure. Success is not for the fastest. It's for the one who doesn't quit. Pain forces you to slow down, to keep moving even when progress feels invisible, to trust that every step forward matters even if it hurts. Endurance is born in pain, and endurance is what carries you across the finish line when talent, motivation, and excitement have all faded. Pain will also reveal your purpose. The areas of life where you suffer the most all point you to the mission you were born to fulfill. The pain of being overlooked and drive you to help others be seen. The pain of failure can inspire you to teach others how to rise. The pain of rejection can fuel you to build something so strong it cannot be ignored.